Hey there. Happy Monday to you. Jumping on here on a Monday afternoon, just checking in to see who might be online and who wants to talk about blame. Anybody? I'd love for you to join me. When someone is applying to work with me, one of the questions that I always ask is, do you take 100% responsibilities for your choices, for the way your life is? And 9 times out of 10, they tell me yes. They answer that question, yes. And of course, I ask them to explain, why do you think you take 100%? But yesterday I was talking to someone and she was telling me how she was really frustrated with her husband. They have a great marriage. Nothing's wrong. Don't panic. Everything's good. But she was talking about how they have a Keurig coffee machine, and he could be standing right in front of the coffee machine and he could say, "Hey, Kath, is there any coffee?" And she said, "Why is this? This man is a doctor. He's fully capable of doing so many things. Why is it so difficult for him to pour himself a cup of coffee?" And we had a really awesome conversation around that. And I've been thinking about it a lot. So I wanted to jump on here today and talk to you about your choices. Because as her and I were talking, we started talking about, okay, so how do you think it got to that point? And she said, well, number one, if I make it, then there's no mess. Okay. Number two, when he was going to medical school, she just got in the habit of doing things for him, and things stay kind of status quo, right? We create these habits. We make choices and then we create habits from them, and then they become subconscious choices, things we do that we're not even thinking about. And later on down the line, when we get to a point where we say, you know what, I'm so fed up with this, then we turn around and we blame the other person. But everything that you're frustrated about, everything that you're angry about, everything that you're blaming somebody else for can all be directed back to you. So if you'll stop and just take a couple steps back and say, okay, when did I create this? When was the point of inception when I consciously made a choice that I was going to do this, and how did it kind of snowball from there? So we had a really great conversation about that. And she's like, well, I have to admit that I do like being in control. I do like making sure that everything is put where it needs to be. I do like X, Y, Z. And I said, so really then you don't have a leg to stand on when you stand here and say, I don't understand why he doesn't blah, blah, blah. And when you think about every single choice you make, everything that's bugging you, everything that you are blaming someone else for. Maybe your husband couldn't empty the dishwasher if his life depended on it. Maybe your children don't know how to do the laundry. Maybe your boss still doesn't know how to change the toner in the coffee machine. Whatever it is, at some point, you made a choice to be that person who could be maybe indispensable to someone else. And because of that, it got to where it is today. So then the question becomes, okay, now that I'm recognizing this, now that I understand that it actually started way back then, how do you, first of all, you have to take 100% responsibility. Yes? Yes, you absolutely do. Stop blaming other people. It's not their fault. Now, of course, they're going to add to it, right? We all come into this mix of people getting together and relationships and interweaving our lives with other people. And the thing is that when we sit there and we are silently brooding or frustrated about what someone else is doing, oh, he couldn't empty the dishwasher if his life depended on it. I'm so sick of doing everything around here. Oh, my kids just expect me to do everything. I just don't understand it. What's wrong with it? This is not how I wanted to raise them. Oh, my boss just doesn't get it. He's always wanting me to do 50 things at one time. He has no clue what it takes to change the toner in the copier. You bring up whatever it is that is bugging on your one good nerve, and sit and think about it and think about inception. When did you create this? And think about where it is right now. Because if you're sitting there brooding and blaming someone else, why can't they get their own X? Why can't they do this? Why can't they do that? What do you need to do to start making some changes? Because we can nag and complain and be really grouchy to other people, but how can we blame someone else for something we virtually set into motion? So you can see why people don't communicate effectively, because when they're so busy blaming or they're busy trying to defend themselves, there is no communication going on. There's a lot of finger pointing, a lot of defensive words going back and forth. But whatever happened in the past, it happened in the past. But also whatever happened in the past, whatever you're feeling and creating now, you have a self-talk that you just keep thinking over and over and over and over again, and it's building up and building up and building up. You know, your self-talk are those thoughts that you think over and over and over and over again, right? We all do it. We all have them. We have a million of them, a gazillion of them. 99% of the thoughts you think today are pretty much the same thoughts you had yesterday and the same thoughts you'll have tomorrow, unless you learn to be a conscious thinker. In other words, stop making choices, stop thinking from your subconscious mind. Start doing your thinking on purpose. So if you have this negative self-talk, like nobody thinks about me, nobody cares about me, everybody, I just feel like I'm such a, I don't know, I'm the maid here. Nobody has any respect for me. Whatever your self-talk is, it's based on a belief, and that belief is based on your thoughts that you think over and over and over again. So self-talk can be great if you're standing there telling yourself, I am the greatest person in the world. You know, something that's really uplifting and makes you feel abundant and prosperous. That's great self-talk. But more often than not, when the self-talk is all about negative thoughts, thoughts that really send you down that rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, I'm underappreciated, I'm underloved, nothing good is ever going to happen, I'm never going to make enough money, I'm never going to build this business, what was I thinking, etc., etc., etc. You have the power to just stop blaming, take a look at the inception. Go back, start thinking about when did you consciously make a choice? And if you can't figure out where it started, that's okay. You don't have to do a lot of thinking about stuff that happened in the past. Just make a decision right now that this is what you want to change. Because the problem is never the problem. When you think it's because he doesn't empty the dishwasher or someone's not paying attention to you, etc., that is not the problem. The problem is, what are the thoughts that you're thinking, and then the actions that you're taking based on your thoughts. And if your thoughts are negative thoughts, then you're going to take negative action. So you can see why it's so very important for us to take 100% responsibility for every single choice we make. Because every choice we make is based on a belief, and every belief is based on a thought. And then, of course, those beliefs have feelings and emotions attached to them, and you must deal with those feelings and emotions. So very important. So I hope that this has gotten you thinking. The next time you start yelling at someone or telling someone they don't appreciate you or blaming them for anything, stop and ask yourself, ooh, okay, what is my culpability in this? And what can I do to be more empowered? In the meantime, this is Nancy Muller saying ciao for now.